In my heart, in my soul, in my blood, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a cameraman. I made films in more than 40 countries. I had an unfortunate attitude to play with technical things, like a little kid in a sandbox. Lights, I started relatively late, and I just was trying to look for something that would augment all the lights that I already had. It should have punch, it should be very efficient, and from all the first lights that we built, I could fill a whole museum with everything that didn't work. So we started, let's say, specialized in optics and lighting, where usually you have one lens and my system has two lenses. Makes it like 3 times more efficient for the small lights. We went on and built more different devices, trying to make them what we call precision lighting instruments. Not everybody needs that. But if you need the highest degree of precision, like in special effects, like British Nigel Stone, all the Harry Potter special effects, that's only Dedolight, nothing else. So if you need the noticeable and unnoticeable precision and accents, that's us. That's our direction, that's like our creed. And now we've transferred all that we learned over the many years into the world of LED, which for highly developed optical systems was tricky. LED panels is easy. But in focusing lights, there were some particular problems. One of those is called color over angle, because there's a blue light source and a layer of phosphor. And in the center, it has a short way. At the edge, it has a long way. So you get different color. So it took about 8 years to develop a common language with the people who can make LEDs, because they measure it differently, they have different purposes, and we conquered that. Another path that we're trying to follow is to have clean color, because quite often, even today in the digital world, we have people in front of the camera, and most of them come with skin. And so there are different ways of looking at color, especially with LEDs. There's some system called CRI, Color Rendition Index. It's from 1931. It's not suitable because it only has 8 colors that it looks at. Those are pastel colors. It misses out on the red, it misses out on the skin tone. So we now work with expanded CRI. Then came a British guy, Alan Roberts, developed something wonderful called TLCI, Television Lighting Consistency Index. Big step forward, very useful, but based on the way the studio camera sees LED. And a studio camera has 3 CCD sensors and has a prism. But most of us, poor guys, even when you have an Arri Alexa or your camera or a Nikon Canon camera, those are CMOS cameras. And they have a beastly attitude. They see daylight and halogen light pretty much all the same. But LED light, they see all different. So you have a Canon 5D Mark II, and it gives you one color. 5D Mark III gives you a different color. And that was a continuous nightmare. And all the spectrum analysis that we do in great depths and with all these wonderful systems don't really give you the solution. So I'm a naive cameraman, so we shoot people's faces. And the most difficult task is to light one side of the face with traditional light or reference light, and the other side with LED light. And it was an endless nightmare to make that match with one camera, but it didn't match on the next camera. And it's only recently that we find a pretty much perfect match for all of our LED lights, and that seems to prove that we've come quite a far way in the quality of it. Not everybody needs to mix. It's much easier to go all halogen or all LED or all this way, but the most difficult task to match this. But now we're onto a new game. Now we work with reflected light. It's not a new thing. Reflected light everybody has used forever. Image creation, to a large extent, was reflected light from medieval painters until today. There is an Austrian cameraman called Christian Berger and Jakob Ballinger, and they developed what they called CRLS, Cine Reflect Lighting System. And then they asked me, can I build the lights? Because the lights that they'd previously used, I don't know, they had disagreements or something. So I started building the big monster light that is not so big either, but it works very well. It pushes out a lot of power. And then we went many further steps to add to our focusing optics, building parallel beam optics that you can stick in front of our focusing lights. And that's miracles. Because our lights can focus like nothing else on the earth. A normal traditional light focuses 1:3, a big one 1:6. We focus 1:25. And one of our HMI lights, for example, has a 4-degree angle, very far reach, very clean beam. Now we put these newly developed optics in front of it, and what do we get? 4-degree again. So what the hell? Except that now we have double the light. Little miracle. So we pursued this further, and with some of our LED lights, this way we have 3 times the light, or even 4 times the light. And that allows us, with very small units, to achieve extreme efficiency and lighting entire sets with reflected light. So we have different applications, and we call it Lightstream, Lightstream Drama, for lighting the big feature films. And quite a few have been lit that way already. And then there's Lightstream Television, where for a sizable studio with 5 people, like Interview with a Rock Group or something, we lit it with one 300-watt LED light and the parallel beam optics, lighting 4 reflectors. And then in the background we have a 90-watt light lighting 5 reflectors. And that's basically the whole lighting, and 2 very weak LED panels for the background. One of those huge LED soft lights to make it smoother and gentler and make it warmer or cooler, and lighting the entire studio with 790 watt, where traditionally that would have been 30 kilowatt. So it's very efficient, and it gives a very structured light, and then we can make that structured light smooth and gentle at will. And then we have another modification called Efflect. That's a play between effect and reflect, and that is for creating crazy backgrounds, like with one of our lights to create a whole background that looks like sun is shining through a leaf tree with the little sun speckles, and then many variations of it that nobody would believe until they try it. It's offering incredible possibilities, and now we'll go even one step smaller to do that for tabletop and so on, for the real small tricky things to do. Yeah. So it still shows the enthusiasm of the dinosaur, where inside is still a little kid. Not only is there a very deep tradition and knowledge about lighting in this country, also we've been able to be quite successful by our main distributor, who's deeply involved, and the resellers for whom we have very special demands, because it's not like selling toilet paper. Our stuff needs explanation, and that's why we need partners who love what they do and have a little bit of understanding of what and can explain, and that's where ScanPro Video is one of the feet on which we stand, and it's very important for us, because without partners like that, we'd be totally lost.